Sonny Hostin shuts down Christie on The View. Hi, welcome to JOA. If you're new to my channel, please click subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Watch this clip and I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
The House announces their articles of impeachment against Trump. He takes his show on the road to air his grievances at a rally in Pennsylvania. Watch.
The FBI also sent multiple undercover human spies to surveil and record people associated with our campaign. Look how they've hurt people. Their lives have been destroyed by scum. The House Democrats announced these two flimsy, pathetic, ridiculous articles of impeachment. Just quickly, here are the facts on Shifty Schiff. This honest guy makes up my statements. He said, the president of Ukraine repeatedly declared that there was no pressure, but he didn't want to say that. We said, say it. Say it, you crooked bastard. Say it.
And a Merry Christmas to you, too, President Trump. He calls the FBI scum. He calls Schiff a crooked bastard. He's got names for everybody, except himself.
True. None of a name for me either.
Not yet.
No. We're doing all right.
If you turn on him, he'll come up with one. Trust me.
We've had our problems, as you know, over time, but it's all right.
But a Quinnipiac poll just found that 51% of voters now oppose impeaching him. So it looks like his tactics are working, because last week it was the opposite.
Well, I would say the other side. I think that the Democrats' tactics are failing. And that's really the problem. He hasn't changed. You hear that. That's the same he's always been.
Why do you call them tactics? They're just defending the Constitution.
No, listen, but it's a political process, Joy. It is. It's not a legal process. It's a political process. And I think Nancy Pelosi was right in the beginning. She said, if it's not bipartisan, we shouldn't do it. And the reason is because politically, people are not going to go for it. The reason why Nixon was kicked out of office was because it was bipartisan.
After a while.
Right.
Not originally.
No, but we're at the point now where it was bipartisan. Is the set falling down? Is that what's going on?
There's like drilling.
But with Clinton, it wasn't bipartisan, so it didn't work. And I think...
Well, it was a little different with him.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
He was sleeping with
Lewinsky.
Lewinsky. This guy's sleeping with Putin. It's a little different.
I do understand that it's a political process, but isn't it also
that drilling is so loud? I'm so sorry.
Sure.
It's so
ignore it. They can't.
Isn't it also a constitutional process, though? In my thought, it's Congress is supposed to provide oversight. That's the oversight function, and that's why I don't understand why folks are saying it should be bipartisan and that this has become partisan. I don't understand why the facts of this are partisan. I mean, who can't see that the President of the United States pressured a foreign government to dig up dirt on his political opponent to inure to his benefit to affect our very democracy?
In the next election.
Anyone that calls calls themselves a patriot, is just a liar.
I do think something that lost people when they announced the articles yesterday was there was so much hype and so much talk about bribery and how you could point to that being a crime. You heard Nancy Pelosi, and yesterday bribery wasn't a part of this. It wasn't even mentioned yesterday.
They called it an abuse of power.
But I do think that is a weakness that the Democrats now have, because if they did have bribery on him, they would have announced that yesterday. And so that goes to the question of, you can say it's an abuse of power, but that's what a lot of people are struggling with. Is we know it was bad, but what rises to the level of removing a president from office?
Well, they called it an abuse of power, which is also, it's unconstitutional. So I don't understand Republicans like yourself saying this is partisan. It's political.
But I'm not saying it's partisan. I'm saying it is political. The impeachment is not a legal process. It's because we don't have judges deciding. We have 100 United States senators deciding. They're all politicians. Well, they're all politicians, and it's a political process. And you need 20 Republican United States senators to decide that he should be removed from office for him to be removed. It's never going to happen.
The Constitution.
It's never going to happen. The American public knows it's not going to happen. And so what they're asking themselves now, and I think why you see those numbers changing, is we know it's not going to happen, so why are we going through this?
Because we know the Republicans aren't going to defend the Constitution.
Well, in the same way, wait a second, in the same way that, 20 years ago, it was the exact opposite. where a lot of Republicans say that's a real abuse of power, to use the power of the Oval Office to seduce a 21-year-old intern, and to do so in the White House is an abuse of power also.
Yeah.
But Democrats didn't see it that way, and they didn't vote that way. So it's a political process.
That's why, Chris, it's the height of hypocrisy that the same sitting senators that are now still sitting voted to impeach and convict President Clinton for having an affair with Monica Lewinsky, but will not impeach and convict this president.
Okay, we'll be right back.
I honestly think that President Trump will not be impeached. And if he does be impeached, I personally believe he still has a chance to be reelected in office. As you guys all know, I don't support the man. I don't like the fact that he basically just says bad things about people of color. I don't like the fact he's cut food stamps and, cut like the free lunches for children in school. And I just don't like the man, point blank, and period. I don't like him at all. And I still do not know why or what has he done to this country. And it's funny because when I talk to people, when I talk to my customers, because I work in the service industry, when I talk to them, I'm like, so, a lot of them, they like Trump. And I'm like, so, why do you like him? Okay, a lot of them, some of them, they're ignorant. Oh, well, he supports the Navy. They're in mid 70s, early 80 years old. So that's all they care about. They like the Navy. They're old. They really don't have much going on for them. They got their little pension and their retirement plan in place. So they good. They good. Not to hate on them. I love them. They're my friends. I'm just speaking the real. Then you got people who are in the baby boomer generations. They're, 40s, 50s. They're like, well, he's helped out the stock market. He's improved jobs. And I'm like, what jobs has he created? How has he decreased the unemployment? I don't understand that. And I even had someone who's African American said, well, he works in the trucking industry, and he goes, well, Trump has helped me, get more business with my trucking company. And I'm just like, okay, has he? I personally don't know what the hell he's done. And another person told me, I was like, well, he's independent conservative. And I was like, sir, your president cut food stamps. He's like, well, you're working. Well, yeah, I am working. And hello, I do qualify for food stamps, just to let you know. I qualify for that. But I don't want to apply for it. Number one, because I have a sense of pride, and I know the money that I get, I can afford, to basically live comfortably, but also live smart to the point where I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm making below $15 an hour, just to let you know. I don't have kids. And, thank God it's a blessing that, I have a roof over my head and a place to stay, although I don't like that place. But I qualify for food stamps. And he's like, well, you're working. Well, a lot of people need to get this straight. Just because you're working, that doesn't mean you're not eligible for food stamps. A lot of people who are on food stamps are working. I need people to get this in their head. You don't need to be unemployed to be eligible for food stamps. You can definitely be employed and be eligible for food stamps. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not the person's fault as to why they got food stamps. Sometimes you got to think outside the box. Sometimes it's the boss's fault. Sometimes they don't want to get promotions. They don't want to get raised, and they got kids. And you know what? They need additional income to support their family. So that's when food stamps come in handy, where we were like, well, Jordan, why don't they get another job? Well, if you're making minimum wage, which is $7.25, and when I say service, I'm talking about fast food. I'm talking about I'm talking about working at McDonald's, Burger King, or even retail. Why the hell would you get a second job and you'd be making $7.25 again, and you probably will still be qualified for food stamps. Then again, if you got so many kids, you know what I mean? I'm single and I make below $15 an hour. And I'm not on food stamps, but I do qualify for it. So, and we're like, well, why don't they go to school? Well, some people don't want to take out loans. We don't have a system in place where we can go to school without paying so much out of pocket, whereas people from Germany, Saudi Arabia, and people from overseas in Europe and everything, they come to U.S. for free education, yet we are the richest country in the world, and we can't have a free education or some type of system where we won't be thousands of dollars in debt once we're out of a 2-year program or a bachelor's degree, which is a 4-year program. So, I don't know. Our country needs a lot of work to do, and I think it is insane that the fact that other people from overseas can come here and get free education, whereas my ass, who's a citizen of the United States, who's worked their butt off in high school, graduating honors, but still had to pay like several thousands of dollars out of my pocket just so I can get a bachelor's degree that I'm not really using now. I'm not using it at all, you know, because well. That's a whole nother video. But anyways, please, if you're new to my channel, please click subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Also, check out my community page. I post statuses on there and I interact with my subscribers. I love interacting with you guys. I'm not one of them YouTubers, no shade to them, that don't reply to comments. I reply to comments. But anyways, deuces! Yeah!
I'm feeling selfish, baby, losing my mind. This drink in my cup ain't doing me right, 'cause I'm feeling like I'm sipping on time.